Left to die beneath the roots of a cursed tree, she was raised by shadows. Now she walks in daylight, and the village that buried her will face what it created. In the heart of the Orikani forest, where the sun rarely touched the ground and the trees whispered secrets older than men, a newborn girl was left wrapped in red cloth, her cries too weak to disturb the silence. She was the seventh daughter born during the eclipse, the time the elders called the sun's rejection. Such children they believed were cursed. Her mother begged to keep her. Her father, fearing the wrath of the gods, tied a stone to the infant's cloth and left her beneath the roots of an ancient irako tree. He did not know that the irako had eyes. When the villagers left, the forest did not stay silent. The shadows came first. Not mere darkness but beings, tall, thin as smoke, faces hidden in mist. They did not speak but they surrounded the child. One of them touched her forehead and the girl stopped crying. She was claimed. He grew not like a human child. The shadows gave her a name in whispers, Amarachi, meaning God's grace. They taught her how to move without being seen, how to listen to roots grown and leaves lie. She drank dew and ate from vines that only bloomed at night. When she tried to speak, the wind spoke for her. When she tried to cry, the earth swallowed her pain. She was not alone. The forest had others, things with teeth, with wings, with eyes like moons. But none dared touch the girl who walked with the shadows. By the time she was 15, she could vanish into mist. She could climb trees faster than monkeys. And her eyes, silver in the dark, could see through lies. But one rule was repeated by the shadows each time the moon rose. Never walk in the sun. It burns what we gift. And for years she obeyed. One night she smelled fire where there should be none. A group of men had entered the forest, loud, proud, and foolish. They wore charms and carried rifles, hunting something they could not see. Amarachi watched them from the trees. She recognized their dialect. Her mother tongue. The same tongue that cursed her then forgot her. They laughed. They mocked the forest. They shot at a rare golden parrot and chopped a sacred vine. The forest screamed. Amarachi followed silently. When the youngest among them tripped and fell, the others laughed and left him behind. She landed beside him like a ghost. His name was Obina. His leg was broken and his eyes full of fear. But he didn't scream. He whispered, "Are you real?" She fed him herbs and dragged him to a cave near the stream. Over days he told her of the outside world. Of electricity, cars, glass buildings, and wars. And of a man, a warlord named Chief Dibia, who had risen in her old village. "A girl vanished here years ago," Obina said, not knowing who she was. "They said her spirit cursed the land. So now the chief sends men to hunt shadows and burn the woods. He fears her return." The shadows hissed that night. "He remembers you." Amarachi looked at her arms. Her veins glowed blue under her skin. The forest had made her something else. But it had also protected her. Loved her. Still, Obina's words scratched at her soul. Her people feared her. Yet it was they who sinned. She was not cursed. She was chosen. The shadows warned her again, "Do not walk in the sun." But Amarachi stood at the edge of the forest the next morning. She raised her hand to the sky. The light touched her skin and smoke rose. It hurt, but it didn't destroy. She stepped forward. For the first time in 15 years she walked in daylight. When she entered the village, silence fell like a stone. Her skin was pale like ash, her hair tangled with vines, her eyes silver like moonlight. Children ran. Old women crossed themselves. But none dared touch her. She went to the square and saw Chief Dibia, a fat man in red robes surrounded by guards. He stared at her like he had seen a ghost. "Amarachi," he whispered. "Impossible." She said nothing. She simply pointed a finger at him. One by one the shadows emerged behind her, stretching across walls, trees, and people's homes, though the sun shone high above. And the chief fell to his knees. "They said you were dead," he cried. "We buried you." "You buried your fear," she replied. Her voice sounded like wind through dry leaves. But the forest raised it. He did not touch him. He didn't have to. The shadows wrapped around him like vines and dragged him screaming into the ground. The earth swallowed him whole. The villagers begged her for mercy. She looked at them all and said, "I am not your curse. I am your mirror." Amarachi stayed. Not as queen nor as a spirit to be worshipped. But as a watcher. She rebuilt the forest edge. Planted sacred trees where houses once stood. She let the children into the woods, but only those with clean hearts. She healed with herbs. She told stories under the moon. Benestatu. He taught the village how to live with the forest, not against it. And though Amarachi never aged and never fully belonged to the human world, she smiled more in those years than ever before. The shadows watched, always nearby. Still loyal. Still silent. And when strangers came hunting as they always did, a whisper would rise through the leaves. Beware the girl who walks in daylight. The one raised by shadows. Who hunts those who forget the trees remember.